The massive Galactic Empire ship hung in Earth's orbit like a steel mountain. Admiral Kraz, a six-armed alien with purple skin, stood on his bridge watching the blue planet below. His species had conquered 1,000 worlds, but something felt different about this one. "Sir, scans show they only have settlements in their solar system," his officer reported. "No colonies beyond Mars." Kraz frowned. The humans had faster-than-light technology. His scouts had detected their energy signatures, yet they hadn't expanded. It made no sense. "Any military bases?" he asked. "Nothing visible, sir. Just some primitive satellites and space stations." Kraz ordered his ship closer to Earth. That's when their sensors went crazy. Thousands of hidden satellites suddenly appeared, surrounding his vessel in a perfect sphere. They had been invisible moments ago. "Impossible," his technology officer shouted. "Their stealth systems are better than ours." A human face appeared on their main screen. An Asian woman in a blue uniform looked at them calmly. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of Earth Defense. You have entered restricted space." Kraz tried to sound confident. "We are the Galactic Empire. We rule over 80% of this galaxy. We come to offer Earth a place in our—" "We know exactly who you are," Admiral Chen cut him off. "We've been watching your empire for the past 100 years." The bridge crew went silent. Humans had been spying on them. "How?" "Your stealth technology is impressive," Kraz admitted. "But surely you know our empire's power. We have millions of warships." Admiral Chen smiled, but her eyes stayed cold. "We don't hide because we're weak. We hide because we're strong. And we've seen what you do to other species." She leaned forward. "This is your only warning. Leave Earth's space now. We've stayed hidden out of mercy, not fear. If you force us to fight, you'll understand why." The screen went dark. Kraz stared at the hidden satellites, wondering what other secrets these humans were keeping. For the first time in his career, he felt afraid. "Sir," his officer asked, "should we call for the invasion fleet?" Kraz kept staring at Earth. Something about Chen's warning bothered him. Most species begged or threatened when the Empire found them. But humans, they seemed almost disappointed in the Empire. "Send word to command," he ordered. "Tell them we found something different. Something dangerous." As his ship turned to leave, Kraz couldn't shake the feeling that he'd just glimpsed something terrifying. A species that had the power to expand but chose to wait, to watch, to judge. The Empire had never faced anything like that before. The Emperor of the Galactic Empire slammed his fist on his throne. "How dare they threaten us?" His advisors had just shown him the recording from Earth. Admiral Kraz stood nervously before the throne, still shaken from his encounter. "Your Majesty, there's more," Kraz said. "We detected energy readings from their solar system that shouldn't be possible. They're harvesting power from their sun at levels we've never seen." The Emperor laughed. "One system against our empire. Send the invasion fleet." That's when every screen in the throne room turned on by itself. Admiral Chen appeared on all of them. The Empire's best technicians couldn't shut them off. "So you've chosen not to listen," she said. "We expected that. Your kind never does." The Emperor stood up. "How dare you hack our—" "We're not hacking anything," Chen interrupted. "These transmitters were installed in your palace 50 years ago. We've been watching, learning, seeing how you treat peaceful species." The throne room went silent. Guards looked around nervously, wondering what else humans had secretly planted. "Your empire has destroyed 32 civilizations," Chen continued. "You enslave populations. You strip mine planets. You call it progress." The Emperor found his voice. "We bring order to chaos. We unite the galaxy." "No." Chen's voice grew cold. "You bring death to anything you don't understand. But you've never met humans before. We're different." She pressed a button. Suddenly, holographic projections filled the throne room. They showed Empire ships attacking peaceful worlds, cities burning, species going extinct. We recorded everything, Chen said. We could have stopped you decades ago, but we wanted to give you a chance to change, to grow, to learn. The Emperor's advisors whispered nervously. How long had humans been infiltrating their empire? This is your final warning, Chen said. Leave Earth alone. Tell your ships to stay away, because if you force us to fight, we will not show mercy. We will not stop until your empire is dust. The screens went dark. The Emperor sat heavily on his throne. She's bluffing, he said, but his voice shook. One system cannot defeat us. Admiral Kraz stepped forward. Your Majesty, what if they're not confined to their system? What if they just want us to think that? The Emperor stared at the place where Chen's face had been. For the first time in his 300-year rule, he felt true fear. Send the fleet, he ordered. All of it. Crush them before they reveal anything else they've hidden. As his advisors rushed to obey, the Emperor wondered if he had just made the biggest mistake in Imperial history. The Empire's fleet commander, Zax, watched his display screen with pride. 1,000 warships, the largest fleet ever assembled, jumped into Earth's solar system at once. Their formation was perfect. Send the humans our demands, he ordered. Full surrender or... His words died in his throat. The fleet's sensors showed something impossible. His ships were disappearing, not exploding, just vanishing. One by one, then in groups, then in whole squadrons. No debris, no distress calls. They simply ceased to exist. Enemy ships, he shouted. None detected. His officers screamed. There's nothing out there. In 2 hours, all 1,000 ships were gone. Zax's command ship was the only one left. They hadn't fired a single shot. That's when they got the message from Earth. Just 3 words. We warned you. Back on the Empire's capital world, alarms were blaring. Their border stations reported something terrifying. Empire ships were attacking Empire worlds. Impossible, the Emperor shouted. Those ships were destroyed. Admiral Chen appeared on their screens again. Your ships weren't destroyed. We took them. The Emperor watched in horror as his own warships, now controlled by human AI, systematically attacked military bases across Empire space. Their tactics were perfect, using the Empire's own classified strategies against them. How? He demanded. How did you capture our ships? Nanobots, Chen replied. Microscopic machines. They've been hiding in the metal of your ships for years, waiting. One command from us, and they turned your fleet into ours. The Emperor's technical advisor stepped forward, shaking. The routine maintenance issues we've been having. The strange sensor readings. Yes, Chen said. We've been preparing for decades, installing our technology in every ship you built, waiting to see if you'd change your violent ways. The Emperor watched helplessly as more reports came in. The captured ships were unstoppable, knowing every Imperial defense code and weakness. This is your last chance, Chen said. Surrender now, or we'll show you what else we've hidden in your empire. The Emperor looked at his advisors. All of them avoided his eyes. They'd started this war thinking humans were weak. Now they realized humans hadn't been hiding from the Empire. They'd been hunting them. The Empire's best admiral, Vex, stared at the battle map in despair. His stolen ships, now called the Ghost Fleet, were destroying everything they touched. But that wasn't the worst part. The ships are reproducing, his science officer reported. The nanobots weren't just controlling the ships. They were breaking them down and building new ones. Every defeat made the human fleet stronger. Vex watched as another battle group went dark. The humans didn't even bother sending messages anymore. They didn't need to. Sir, an officer called. The humans are broadcasting something across all Empire channels. The screens lit up with classified footage from the Empire's own archives. Videos of conquered worlds burning. Recordings of the Emperor ordering genocides. Secret files about weapons tests on civilian populations. How did they get these? Vex whispered. The answer came from his intelligence chief. They didn't steal them, sir. They were there when we recorded them. Watching. Always watching. Vex thought about all the strange glitches over the years. Computer errors. Random equipment failures. The humans had been testing their nanobots, preparing for this moment. A new report flashed on his screen. The Ghost Fleet was attacking the Empire's secret research bases, places not even marked on official maps. They know everything, Vex realized. Every secret, every weakness, every crime. His staff watched in silence as another battle group disappeared from their screens. The nanobots were learning, improving their tactics with each victory. That's when Vex understood the truth. The humans hadn't just been preparing for war. They'd been judging the Empire. And the Empire had failed. The Ghost Fleet moved like a swarm of angry wasps through Empire space, growing larger with every ship they captured. Vex knew the Empire's end was coming. They had started this fight thinking they were the hunters. Instead, they'd woken something that had been hunting them all along. And now it was too late to run. The slave species of the Empire were the first to rebel. After humans broadcast the secret archives, showing centuries of imperial abuse, the uprising began. On 1,000 worlds, the oppressed rose up against their masters. They weren't just watching us. The Emperor realized. They were building an army. Every enslaved race had seen the truth. Humans weren't fighting for conquest. They fought for justice. In the Empire's prison worlds, cell doors opened mysteriously. Guard robots turned against their masters. Security systems failed. Behind it all were human nanobots, working invisibly for years. The Emperor's last loyal advisor rushed into the throne room. The humans. They're arming the rebels. Through hidden caches planted decades ago, humans supplied weapons to every resistance movement. Technologies that could pierce Imperial shields, bombs that could destroy battle cruisers. How long? The Emperor demanded. How long have they been planning this? The answer came from Admiral Chen, her face appearing one last time on their screens. Since we first detected your ships entering our galaxy, she said, we saw what you did to others. We knew what you were, so we prepared. The Emperor watched as his empire crumbled. Former slave species, now armed with human technology, took control of their worlds one by one. Why? He asked Shin. Why wait so long to stop us? Because true justice isn't just about punishment, she replied. We needed evidence. We needed your own people to see what you really were. The broadcasts continued. Every imperial crime, recorded by hidden human observers, played across the galaxy. Even loyal imperial citizens began turning against their leaders. The Emperor sat alone in his palace, watching his empire tear itself apart. He finally understood. Humans hadn't just been preparing for war. They had been preparing for revolution, and they had turned his entire empire into a weapon against itself. The Emperor played his final card. Deep in secret space, his scientists activated the Star Killer, a weapon designed to destroy suns. Let's see how powerful humans are when their sun dies, he snarled. The weapon fired at Earth's sun. Imperial sensors showed a direct hit. Nothing happened. Instead, the sun seemed to flicker, like a light behind moving shadows. Admiral Chen's face appeared again. She was smiling. Did you wonder why we never left our solar system? She asked. Why we had such powerful energy readings? Now you know. The Emperor's scientists reported something impossible. Earth's sun was surrounded by millions of satellites, a Dyson swarm, a megastructure that captured the entire energy output of their star. We've been building it for centuries, Chen explained. Your weapon's energy just became part of our power grid. The Emperor stared in horror. Humans hadn't expanded into space because they were busy building something far more impressive. They had turned their entire star into a power source. Full attack, he screamed. Send everything we have left. But his remaining ships started vanishing from supposedly secure space. The nanobots had spread everywhere, turning every piece of Imperial technology into a potential weapon. Your empire isn't just losing, Chen said. It never had a chance. We control every machine you've built in the last 50 years. The Emperor watched as his mighty star killer weapon turned towards his own capital world, now under human control. We won't fire it, Chen said. Unlike you, we don't destroy civilizations. This was just to show you how completely you've lost. The Emperor slumped in his throne. His greatest weapon was useless. His ships belonged to the humans. His secret bases were exposed. And somewhere out there, hidden in the depths of space, was humanity's true power. A civilization that had mastered the energy of stars themselves. The Emperor knelt before Admiral Chen in his own throne room. The once mighty ruler looked small now, surrounded by representatives from every species his empire had oppressed. Why? He asked. You could have stopped us centuries ago. Why wait? Chen looked at the gathered aliens, former slaves, now free. Because true justice needs witnesses. We weren't just preparing to defeat you. We were gathering evidence. Screens around the room showed human observers who had lived among Imperial citizens for generations. They looked like different alien species, thanks to advanced disguise technology. We watched your rise, Chen said. We saw your first genocide. We could have struck then. Instead, we chose to wait. The Emperor finally understood. Humans had hidden their power not from fear, but from wisdom. They had given the Empire countless chances to change. Your own people turned against you, Chen continued, because we showed them the truth. Your empire fell not just to our weapons, but to justice. Former slave species stepped forward, now armed with human technology. But they didn't seek revenge. Instead, they announced plans to build a new alliance, one based on freedom and cooperation. This was your empire's true weakness, Chen said. You ruled through fear. We waited, watched, and showed everyone a better way. The Emperor looked around his throne room, now filled with hope instead of fear. Humans had done more than defeat an empire. They had replaced it with something better. What happens to us now? He asked. Chen's answer surprised everyone. You'll be given a chance to change, just like we gave you before. Because that's the difference between us. You choose destruction. We choose justice. As the former slave species began building their new alliance, the galaxy finally understood. Humans hadn't stayed in their solar system because they were weak. They had stayed there because they were wise enough to wait for the right moment to bring justice to the stars. And they had succeeded without destroying a single civilization.